What good is sitting alone in your room?
Hello, and thank you for joining us here at the Early Show. And we are once again talking about a unique psychological phenomenon called Repressed Cabaret Syndrome.
Okay. And then, deep in the pandemic, a voice in the wilderness called out to me, "Do you think you might have repressed cabaret syndrome?"
This is a condition where an individual has a strong desire to perform on stage, but they repress or suppress this desire for various reasons. Now, the definition of repressed cabaret syndrome, this is just one definition. Repressed cabaret syndrome, also known as RCS, is a psychological phenomenon where individuals have an intense desire to perform on stage, but suppress or repress this desire due to fear of judgment or societal pressure in a cabaret setting.
Yes, but that's what repressed cabaret syndrome does to you.
It messes with your mind.
Things go out of your mind, and things that are happening at martinis, you just don't care about them because you're just repressed.
We're talking about cabaret. So, causes of RCS include childhood experiences, social anxiety, fear of judgment, societal pressure. I want to highlight a discussion I had with our great friend Dave Baer on this topic.
Dave, welcome.
It's wonderful to be here. And a solution to every problem starts with the first step.
That's so funny. I was just thinking that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what would be the first step for repressed cabaret syndrome? Can you hear
Talking
me?
about it, acknowledging it.
Yes. Talking about it, acknowledging it. Those are the two of the first steps, but the very first step is acknowledging that you have repressed cabaret syndrome. Well, no, that is.
So symptoms. This is really important. Individuals with RCS may experience a range of symptoms, including anxiety, check, nervousness, check, sweating, racing heart, difficulty breathing. They may also have feelings of inadequacy, fear of failure, and lack of self-confidence. Now, there are several ways to treat RCS. They include therapy, exposure therapy, even medication. You can go to a therapist for this, or what we're going to talk about here on this channel is ways that you can address your repressed cabaret syndrome.
So take it from me. I am the queen of repressed cabaret syndrome. Having once been at the pinnacle of the cabaret world and having tumbled head over heels, wig over,
fur-covered scooter and everything.
I know, all of it fell away. And then, deep in the pandemic, a voice in the wilderness called out to me, "Do you think you might have repressed cabaret syndrome?" And I thought, oh my God, that's it. And you know who said that to me, David?
Me.
It was you.
Mm-hmm.
It was you, David Baer.
Well, it's one of those syndromes that people don't realize they have until it's almost too late.
It really takes somebody else to point it out to you. And you said to me, you are a cabaret artist, but you're not doing cabaret. I needed my next fix. It's the opposite of being an alcoholic. You need to indulge in cabaret to cure repressed cabaret syndrome. Whereas if you're an alcoholic, you need to refrain from indulging. But that's another episode for another channel.
Mm-hmm. There are many
David?
channels to cover that one. You are the only one covering this topic.
I am. And I probably will remain the only one covering this topic because it's really an unsung type of hero that I am here. And I have you to thank for it, Dave.
Well, I'm glad to know that I could be of some help to you.
So, David, tell me when it was that you first became aware of repressed cabaret syndrome. Was it that you...
Oh, absolutely. It was during the COVID when we were doing the Zoom calls. And I realized that many people on the call were talking about not being able to perform anymore. And it was just really making them crazy. Their hair was falling out. they had to go see therapists. Well, there were no therapists to go see.
No therapy. You couldn't. There was no one to talk to about it.
The theaters were closed.
People were desperate. They were doing cabaret on Zoom.
Not only that, they were doing cabaret probably in the bathroom with a comb.
Yes, just like as if they were 12 years old.
But there was just nothing else to do.
But you saw, David, you were one of those inspired people who really understood repressed cabaret syndrome for what it was. And I think all the cabaret artists, all the cabaret wannabes, and all the cabaret fans out there who are suffering from repressed cabaret syndrome. And I have to admit, Dave, I am still suffering from repressed cabaret syndrome. But that's part of cabaret. You've got to be in
seat of the pants.
So anyway.
Well, I think that probably we, throughout this network that you're creating right here, we can create a network of local cabaret people who will feed into the network here. What local events are going on, so we can have a schedule so people can work with their local theaters and overcome this crippling problem.
People can jump on this channel. They can post in the comments what's happening locally in their cabaret world. And we can fight repressed cabaret syndrome. We can put an end to repressed cabaret syndrome.
We can certainly make a dent in it.
We can take a start. And the first step is just saying, I have repressed cabaret syndrome, and I'm not going to take it anymore.
There you go.
So in conclusion, we want to support you in addressing your repressed cabaret syndrome, whatever form it may take, whether you have a repressed desire to perform or a repressed desire to be at a cabaret, or maybe you just need to see a production of Cabaret the Musical. So check back here regularly, like, subscribe, tell your friends. See you next time.
Life is a cabaret, old chum. Come to the cabaret.